So here's a video to that song, Can't See It, Can't Smell It, or I haven't said what song, a song created by Ranking Taxi that features the dub Ainu band. So let me just play it, and I won't be able to play the whole thing, but hopefully you'll see enough of it to get a sense of what it's about.
噂のプルトニウム安全神話福島で終わるもう食べられなくなる農作物どこまでいつまで汚染される放射の強い放射の偉い誰も差別しない誰にも負けない放射の強い放射の偉い誰も差別しない誰にも負けない例えばカダフィオバマサルコジベルルスコーニ広瀬隆南京拓司総理大臣阪神巨人推進派反対派東電関電南電関電男女子供大人朝日文春エリスキリン白人空人声優大系トヨタ日産逆イラン放射の強い放射の偉い誰も差別しない誰にも負けない放射の怖い放射のヤバい誰にも見えない匂いもない一時冷却水漏れても安全な原発24時間世界平和を守る原爆惨事が起きるまで懲りない性格用心してても起きるマルゲな単純ミス上手な宣伝メディアの威力甘い雰囲気狙いはサブリになる加熱で新聞ぶち抜き広告信じてるうちに風が吹いてくる放射の強い放射の偉い誰も差別しない誰にも負けない放射の怖い放射のヤバい見えない匂わない誰も逃げられない例えばビヨンセペヨンジュンエイリアンアンパンマンウルトラセブンレベル7ダブアイヌバンドグリーンアイランドソフトバンクハードパンク松部清松部仁ザクマクゴジラモスラポリスコソドの社長先生マイコファンテ森高志松安や片様放射の強い放射の偉い誰も差別しない誰にも負けない放射の怖い放射のヤバい見えない匂わない誰も逃げられない放射の食らって死んじゃうなんていやいやよただ漏れなのに止められないなんていやいやよ生まれてくる子供に恨まれるなんていやいやよ豊かで不健康な暮らしなんていやいやよ放射能で愛が強まるか放射能で賢くなれるか放射能で戦争なくなるか放射能で笑顔がこぼれるか放射能強い放射能偉い誰も差別しない誰にも負けない放射能怖い放射能ヤバい見えない匂わない誰も逃げられない見えない匂わない誰も逃げられない見えない匂わない誰も逃げられない見えない匂わない誰も逃げられない逃げられない逃げられない逃げられない逃げられないニュークリア逃げられない逃げられない逃げられない事故ったら逃げられない逃げられない逃げられない逃げられないニュークリア逃げられない逃げられない逃げられない事故ったら安全だ安全だ安全だ安全だニュークリア安全だ安全だ安全事故らなきゃ安全だ安全だ安全だ安全だニュークリア安全だ安全だ安全なくなればなくなればなくなればなくなればか
All right. Give him a hand. He's not here. Stop. No, he's not. Kidding. All right. All right, but so kind of one of the reasons why I wanted us to see this video is because I think it's an example of the kinds of work that Japanese reggae artists are doing to make reggae music appreciable to Japanese audiences, right? And one way of doing that, of course, is by creating music that speaks to very kind of particular circumstances in Japan, things that you don't necessarily find going on in Jamaica or in other parts of the world, but rather things that are particular to the contemporary Japanese experience, right? And certainly the triple disaster of March 11, 2011 is a very kind of good, compelling example of this, right? Another way of making making reggae music Japanese is through the specificity of Japanese cultural references throughout, 1 billion of them. We won't necessarily speak to every single one. But again, part of what makes this, as accessible as it is to us, it's accessible to Japanese consumers because, again, of the specificity of the cultural references, right? Including the dub Ainu band, which was, kind of presented. An image of the band was presented in the video, right? There's kind of Japanese linguistic wordplay, right? Anzenda, right? He repeats Anzen, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, until that illusion of safety disappears. And so there's this kind of clever transition from all is safe, all is safe, all is safe, until we realize that we're no longer safe and you're kind of stupid. He's speaking to, harshly but kindly in a certain sense, I guess, to the Japanese public who fell under the illusion, this illusion that everything is safe. And so you go from, it's all safe to baka, you're silly or you're foolish for buying into this illusion. There's cross-linguistic wordplay, E-I-E-I-O, and, as in Old MacDonald's, E-I-E-I-O, right, which is really similar in sound to the Japanese saying E-I-E-I-O, like, it's like, no way, it's terrible, right, kind of rejecting. So there's very kind of clever cross-linguistic wordplay in the video, or in the song. And then kind of going back to the earlier phase in my thinking about Japanese reggae and what Japanese folks do to make reggae authentically Japanese, as we discussed before, initially the way that was done among many Japanese artists was by very closely referencing the Jamaican, right? And so in this day and age, of course, as Japanese fans and practitioners have become more and more confident in their embrace and engagement and practice of reggae music, you don't see that quite as much, right, as you did maybe many years ago or a few years ago. But you still do see examples of this, right? And so I won't be able to go back to it now, but maybe you can take notes or something. And then check it out on YouTube a second time. For those of us who are into reggae music in Jamaica, Yellow Man's famous song, and I can never say this right, but I'll try, Zunga 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 Zang, right? Super famous song. There's a little moment in this song by Ranking Taxi where he's approximating the melody heard in Yellow Man's famous song. So really, really dense, really, really complex, not just in terms of the music itself, not just in terms of the image, but in terms of the lyrics also. So a lot going on. But anyway, all of that aside, the reason why I wanted us to see that video is again to kind of reflect on some of these things, but also to think about the presence of the Ainu dub Ainu band as the backing band, right? So I think they're doing more than just backing Ranking Taxi in the song. I think what's interesting about their presence here is that they're, I think, present in the video as, they're being the backing band of Ranking Taxi, I think to some degree is intended to kind of reference their status as indigenous people, right? So this, this nuclear disaster in a certain sense, belies or it represents a kind of failure of modern Japan to live up to the ideals that indigenous people in Japan supposedly abided by. And none of this is stated explicitly, but I think it's a kind of subtext that helps to kind of inform the significance of their presence in this song or in this video.